course, all honor, glory, and praise unto the Most High God, whose name alone is Yahweh, and the name is the only begotten Son of Mashiach, Yahweh Shai, who the world refers to as Jesus Christ, and he is the Savior of the nation of Israel. All right, Shalom, Shalom. This is WFILA coming back to y'all with yet another video through the Spirit power Yahweh Ba'Shem of Mashiach, Yahweh Shai. All right, so I'm gonna get straight into this, man. I'm gonna touch on the topic real quick. Really going into Christianity is a flawed philosophy. That's what I titled it, through the Spirit. And basically what I want to say off of that is, you know, we had camp in NoHo today, all praise to the Most High. And it was, you know, it was a huge L for Christianity, because we had like 3 Christians over the whole course of the camp that basically was arguing against what one brother actually referred to as Hebrew Israelism. Okay, Hebrew Israelism. That term is quoted and coined by none other but Vocab Malone. Okay, we know who that is. If you're part of the community and you study with the camps and the congregations that teach this doctrine, you know who Vocab Malone is. You know, he's an adversary to the doctrine. He's an adversary to, you know, a lot of the brothers that teach the doctrine. You see what I'm saying? Because he's, you know, he's like the main adversary. Like Hadad the Edomite was an adversary that was stirred up against King Solomon. You know, so his mission is to debunk Hebrew Israelism, which was a term that was coined, again, by himself. Nobody that actually practices the so-called Hebrew Israelism refers to their belief as that. Okay, Hebrew Israelite, that's not, you know, that's a made-up term utilized by Vocab Malone. Okay, so we're talking to 3 Christians. One of them initially was basically in the start of the camp was like he was a pastor, apparently. Okay, alleged pastor, Pentecostal pastor, and you know, obviously he believes in the whole 9 of the speaking of tongues. That's what Pentecostals believe in heavily, is the speaking of tongues aspect of it all. You know, obviously we have a different interpretation of like what the speaking of tongues is actually going into. Obviously the speaking of tongues is talking about speaking other languages. Okay, we read Acts chapter 2, because he mentioned that the speaking of tongues is